Good afternoon. This is Crocker's Crazy Living. It is Sunday afternoon at 2:20, almost 2:25 in the afternoon. Today we're going to do herbed baby carrots in a canner, in a can them. Put my new book. Right here is the recipes. We are going to do herbed carrots. Recipe does say that you can buy whole carrots, then you need to peel them and cut them into desired chunks, or you can leave them whole. I'm gonna do the cheat factor. I got baby carrots at the grocery store that were at a decent price, so I'm gonna put these in the jar, add the seasonings and the liquid, and then put them in the canner. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but that's totally okay. For this recipe, it calls for 2¼ pounds of carrots per recipe, and that is either 2 quarts or 4 pints. So I bought enough carrots to do maybe 12 pints. I only have 7 jars laid out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jars laid out. Might have to get more jars depending on how full the jars get. And then you use seasonings: salt, rosemary, thyme, and lemon zest, but the lemon zest is optional, so I'm leaving that out. And then chicken or vegetable broth. So grocery store had all their broth in stock on sale, buy one get one free, so I got vegetable stock instead of the chicken stock. I thought that would be good with carrots instead of chicken flavor. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide my seasonings by 4 so I can get per jar, because it says to put your stuff in a big bowl, add all your seasonings, and then put it in the jars. I don't want to do it that way, and it's okay if I can divide it out and add so much per jar. That's easier to do anyway. I want to be ensured that my carrots all have about the same amount of seasoning. So I think doing it this way will work out pretty well. So we're going to get started. I might get my canner funnel. Sometimes this canning funnel just makes it easier to get the carrots in the jar. So I'm thinking I'm going to put my seasonings in the jar first. Now I just washed these with hot water, so they're still pretty warm. I don't soak them in hot water. I don't feel like it's necessary because they're going to go in a canner anyway. But all the ingredients, or all the things, tell you to have them in boiling hot water. Salt, rosemary, and thyme. No pepper. We're reading a bunch of I was reading a bunch of different recipes, so I didn't know if pepper was on the list or not. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fill my jars with the seasoning first. I can get 6 jars in my canner at a time. Alright, so what's first? Salt. 2 teaspoons of salt. So I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in each jar. I already figured this all out, which makes it a lot easier. Half a teaspoon of salt in each jar. Then it is 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary and dried thyme, which is a quarter of a teaspoon in each. Thyme is very expensive at the store. Oh, don't spill it, it's too expensive to waste. Alright, so a quarter teaspoon in each. Okay, and the same amount of rosemary. I got the bodyist rosemary, was $1.19. This bottle, $5.99. They did not have the thyme in this brand, it was out. I don't know if they're having a hard time getting it or if people are just buying it because this brand is cheap. It's only $1.19 a packet. And it's a zipper packet, so it stays fresh for a long time. I need scissors. And this is a pretty good substantial amount of rosemary in this packet. It used to be 99 cents. Went up to $1.18. Alright, so a quarter teaspoon of rosemary. I know that I have rosemary growing out in my side house, but I don't have any dried rosemary. Okay, now we're going to just add our carrots and then we will add our liquid. I also bought potatoes. I'm going to be doing potatoes in the near future. Bags of potatoes were on sale. BOGO. I don't think I need the funnel. Sometimes I think the funnel makes it easier. Sometimes it does not. Alright, I'm just going to pack the carrots in there. So, okay, it was a 2-pound bag of carrots. Just kind of shake them around, trying to jiggle them down in there a little bit more. It looks pretty good, I guess. That was a 2-pound bag and I got 4 jars. So that was pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do, because, well, here, let me finish these. I fit 6 in my can. One time I canned carrots. I did it the extremely hard way because My mom used to live up in Denellen in northern Florida, and there was a guy, an old guy with a pickup truck, and his pickup truck was full of carrots. He had a truckload of carrots, literally. And I don't know if it was deer, for the deer, people to buy it for the deer. But me and my mom saw this guy with this big old truck full of carrots, and he said, fill a bag for $5. So he had these paper bags there, and my mom said, fill up as many bags as you want. I think I filled up 3 paper bags. It was like $15 worth of carrots. And I brought them home, and they were huge. I mean, they were huge carrots. And I brought them home, and I washed them and peeled them and sliced them in my food processor. I cut my hand back then on the food processor. And I made canned carrots, and they were delicious. Because you can go to like Detweiler's or your farm markets, and you can buy those big loose carrots, and they're huge, but they're super, super sweet. That's what I had, but he had a truckload of them. All right, so now my broth needs to be hot in order to put it on there, in there. So I have it in a great big measuring cup here, and I'm gonna put it in my microwave instead of trying to boil it on the stove. I'm gonna put it in my microwave for about 5 minutes and get it good and boiling hot, and then I'll be back and we'll pour it into our jars and get ready to go can. Be right back. Okay, I got my broth good and hot, and now I'm just gonna pour the broth into each jar. Leaving about an inch headspace. This makes filling the jars pretty easy. And I always like to kind of like move them around or tap them a little bit just to make sure that the air bubbles come out. A little bit more in this one. I think that carrot is too much. I'm going to take him out. Give it a little tap. This is the first time I've done vegetables in broth. When I did vegetables years ago, you added water to it. You added hot water. You didn't add broth. So this is new for me, doing it with the broth. Alright, so I'm going to have to heat up another box of broth. I bought BOGO 6 boxes of broth, 2 being chicken, because I do use a lot of chicken broth, just on a normal basis. Alright, so I'm going to pause you again. I'm going to put this back in the microwave for 5 more minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. I'm going to fill up my last jars. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Now, if I wanted to, I could have used the really, really tiny. These are pretty substantial baby carrots, but in other packages they have the really tiny ones. I could have done those as well. That's a big carrot. But I just got the big bags of these because I thought it was more economical. Alright, now we're going to get our lids on. Just making sure my lid is dry. eyelid area, because you gotta have that dry. Fingertip tight. You don't want anything on there that's going to hinder your canner from working, sealing your jars. You go through all this work, you want it to seal. I'm really kind of enjoying getting my pressure canner back out. I haven't had it out in years. I was doing so much water bath canning, which is very, it's fun too. But I kind of like this again because I like having more than just salsa and pasta sauce and stuff like that. And with your pressure canner, you can do so much more with it. So much more. All right. Now, I'm going to take you over to the stove, I think. Set you over here. Oops. Hold on, I got to position you. I got to get rid of this lid.